Hi, everybody. It's great to see you again. Welcome to the Uplift My Life Today podcast channel. My name is Astuti Marto Sudirjo. I am the host and the space or transformational space holder for all of the people that would like to transform their inner being from less excited, from less grounded, from less hopeful about life into excited, grounded, centered, empowered, and focus as well as resilience. So today I am in a wonderful company of Soraya Rosada. Hi, Soraya.
Hello, Mbade. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I've I've been wanting to have a conversation with Soraya for many, many months now. And the focus of my conversation with her today is about her transformation journeys and
Yes.
what basically she has gained from it and what she learned from it, with the hope that we could actually describe or show you one type of transformation out of a billion, out of many billions type of transformation.
Yes.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because every journey, every transformation journey is very unique. So welcome again, Soraya. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm super excited of our podcast today.
Me too. Me too. So let's
Yes.
start with you perhaps saying a couple of words about yourself so the people, the listeners and or the viewers could get to know you a little bit.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much once again. My name is Soraya Rosada, as being mentioned. I'm an Indonesian living in Germany for 2 years now. And I'm an entrepreneur. So I founded my company here in Germany. But before that, I have been working in Singapore and also lived in different countries in the world. Yeah, so this is my new adventure now, and I've been in the healing journey together with your companionship. I think since 5 or 6 years ago already.
Wow, yes, yes.
Already.
That didn't feel like that, did it?
It did feel like that, and that's the beauty of it, right?
Right, right. The global trotter that you are. That's amazing. So, would you
Yes.
say your recent move to Germany is one of the most, if not the most important or and
Yes.
large ball scale move?
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest and the most impactful decision that I've made in my life. And it's very exciting, yet but it's completely something that I've never thought before.
Would you mind sharing a little bit what type of move is this going to Germany?
So I joined my husband actually. So he is a German citizen. And we have never thought, okay, I think it's clear that because he is a German citizen, Germany is actually or was actually on the list where we should be going. But we wanted to stay in Singapore before
Mm.
that. But during the pandemic time, if I could share a little bit the story of that, and this is probably an interesting story to tell.
Sure.
So we had a 5 years long distance relationship when we met in Singapore, and I worked there, and he needed to went to India, needed to go to India and also back to Germany. And after 5 years of long distance relationship, we wanted to stay in Singapore where I work.
Mhm.
Um, and he decided to leave Germany or resign from his job. But he resigned from his job the time when the pandemic came, and I resigned from my job from the pandemic came as well. So we basically were quote unquote in the limbo
Mm.
situation. We wanted to find a job in Singapore at that time, but at that time he couldn't come in anymore because
Yeah.
of the isolation, and I needed to go back to Indonesia because my job and my visa they're in the same contract.
Right.
So Singapore was out of the option, and I wanted to start a new life in Germany because I feel that's much more relevant and it's a new adventure. And I think personal reason, I also did a lot of things that was not in Indonesia. So I was much more excited to embrace my life, my new life in Germany. And that start was with new language, new culture, uh, new context, or almost non-context,
New market.
new market. Also, yeah, everything that I've been doing right now, almost all of them are the first time for me to do. Yes.
Right. That's huge.
Yes.
That's huge. And I'm just going to say, being an Indonesian myself, I think it's quite a big change for the family, no, for your parents to not to
Yes.
have their
Yes.
beautiful daughter an hour flight away from Singapore to Jakarta.
Yes.
Instead, it's like what, 12, 13, 14 hours away now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, that's complete. I can confirm that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like you are rebirthing yourself because you're giving birth again to yourself to something completely different where a lot of things are actually new.
That's
And
true.
and they're all a bit unexpected in a way because the plan was not that. Right?
Yes.
The plan was being in Singapore.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so interesting how maybe this is also normal, right? We grow up and being informed, like you have to plan your life. You
Mm.
have to know what you want to do in 5, 10, 20, 30, or 50 years.
Yes.
And you want to sort of control what's going to happen with your life and make sure that every year you earn something, every year you make something, you move the needle. And then it's like, no, sorry, that's not what's going to happen.
Like I had a plan.
Yeah, I had so many plans
So
that
many
didn't
plans.
work out.
And yet I end up in a situation where everything is new. It was supposed to be
Yes.
partially new, but not all is new.
Yeah, exactly. Everything, but everything is completely new. And there was this time that I think during that time we were also this healing together with you, with your guidance. I had the pause of 2 years during the pandemic time. I was really just exploring freelancing and also not doing anything but the healing. So the therapy, the
Mhm.
journaling, the reflection, and be with my family, really facing all the triggers and also addressing the concerns from my parents
Yeah.
because yes, I was living outside the country for a long time, also different places, but it's not that suddenly Germany is in their radar.
Yeah. And I think also it's much more challenging. I'm not a parent, but I could imagine because I think it's very difficult to imagine,
Yes,
how life in Germany looked like for them. They could
yes,
imagine how life looks like, because they probably have visited Singapore, so
yes,
they feel a bit like, okay, that's okay, she's okay, there, but this is like, where is this? We don't get them. It's like,
yes,
yeah, okay,
yes.
right,
And people speak a little bit of Malay, I think, in Singapore. So there's sort of control to that. There's sort of familiarity. And in Germany, people don't speak in English. Of course, if we go on the street or go in professional setup, yes, they do speak
yeah,
very, very good English. But my parents don't speak in English,
right,
left alone speak German. Yeah, but their concerns are not only that, they're also getting older, right? They're
right.
also not working anymore. They don't also are not earning anymore. So there's also a lot of fears about being old and without the daughters
Their
and
plan on how they're going to grow old is disturbed by this.
based on their long-term planning, so the daughter decided that
Yes. This was not what we're thinking. No.
yes,
So,
Yes.
in a nutshell, I think it's safe to say that would it be okay to say that actually the plan that suited you the most, you and your husband the most, is actually disturbing so many people's lives? Is that how was that?
I think that for I don't I do not know about the universe around my nuclear family, because the establishment in traditional Indonesian family is that if you are not married, then you're part of this nuclear family as a child. And
Mhm.
then if you're married, then you have your own family. So surely I have made some disruptions in my current parents and daughter universe, because I think I'm very privileged to have a pair of parents who are very thoughtful about the future, and then
Mhm.
invested in us, invested in education, motivated us, and also have a thought, okay, so we probably will live close by, we
Mhm.
can have this together, community like,
Mhm.
right? So we didn't have the whole family or bigger family in the context, but surely what they thought was going to be, it's not happening. Although I thought if they understood that I have been going out for my own adventure, study and working, they may also have the thought that maybe she's not going to be in Indonesia, but who knows, maybe she will come back, or like in the future, she be in Indonesia or not. But this is almost confirmed that, yeah, at least the husband is not an Indonesian,
Right,
right?
right,
So, so
right.
yeah.
So we can laugh about it. I
We
remember
can.
it was not this one when you were going through the stages of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, but that part of my life where we needed to address the concerns was
Right.
one of the hardest,
Yeah.
because I also am that daughter that wanted to please my parents, right?
Yes.
I want to be nice to them. I also want to be kind to myself, but such a it was such a hard time to understand that being kind to myself and also speak my truth is also helping them out, to release them from all of this guilt, release them from all of this responsibility that my life is being designed by their own design or their own plans. And if I'm not happy, that I would blame them, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I think that that was the one of the most challenging time in my life to address all of this, because it came at the same time with pandemic, all of the fears of, we know, like, bless their hearts, people have passed away during that time, and old people, right? So a lot of crisis happening at the very same time. And we were sitting down there at our home, and we were talking a lot about life, and so uncomfortable, because I came for the first time for a very long time just to address that. And we lived together during the pandemic time.
It's it's quite a huge thing, right? I think, and this is of course we're going to talk about your process, but I think I
Yes,
just would like to honor this our parents, right?
yes,
They are
100%.
not
We
the
love
easiest
them.
usually
Yes.
because they usually have a plan in their mind as to how they're going to proceed in their old age.
Mm,
And we come in because we would like to be authentic, because you would like to be authentic with who you really are, what your calling
yes,
is, setting up for the choices. I choose to marry a man from Germany. Okay.
yes,
So I love him. I'm creating something new with him. We certainly would like to honor our parents who are, of course, usually expressing their discomfort,
yes,
but they actually had to adapt a lot of things, including having a son-in-law from Germany,
exactly. Yeah.
extended family in Germany now.
Yes,
And then
yes,
you become an entrepreneur.
yes,
And okay, this is like, okay, interesting. This was not probably
yes,
the scenario
yes,
that I had in mind. They probably were thinking this and like, what? Are you moving? so far, okay, so you will not be able to be around with me, with us, right? So I'd like just to honor our parents because, and I also would like to say that, being or claiming authenticity has implications,
Yes.
right? And it is
Yes.
bigger than just us. I would like to acknowledge that.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think it's also there's processes to manage this
Yes.
because I think this is also probably you probably will share this in your story. The option is only one.
Yes.
Authenticity is the choice,
Yes. Yes. I
right?
think that's the only, so I'm getting chills right now. It's really just that because um I think if I can say this journey in one line is that we're coming back to ourselves, who we really are and who are who we really are and who we are not,
Mhm.
and embrace that, you know. So, but the process to get there is to unlearn and unfold who we wanted to be or who we thought to be. And that also comes from the childhood
Mhm.
conditioning, also the teaching, also the society, the bigger system than that. Then the question of who we are is very distorted, right? So who are we? You know, like, are we part of this one label of a daughter, a sister, or whatever that is nice or like that is smart or very intelligent, or all of these labels that are actually being given to us with expectations.
Expectations.
Expectation and comes from external, and then we're hitting ourselves so bad, you know, like you are that person and actually
Mm.
you're not. And it's so tough to come very vulnerably going out to say, like, this is who I am and I am not that person or not anymore. But the easiest to do, because you can't be your anybody else. You know, you cannot pretend to be anybody else because you are who you are. But I think we can be in such a very vulnerable place where, yeah, I'm sorry, I have to turn you down. Like, this is not me anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing that job anymore. I'm not giving in to that anymore. I'm not eating that anymore. Or I'm doing this now. And it's really tough to actually disappoint people sometimes.
Yes, 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 absolutely. And I would like to honor that also, right? Because you and I have something in common, Soraya. We are
Mhm.
the responsible kids,
There
the
you go.
over responsible children.
Yes.
Disappointing the people that we love was not really an option. We believed
Mm.
that for a long, long time, right?
Yes, yes,
This was not an option. Well, it is now,
yes.
but it wasn't for decades, would you say?
Yes, and I think it also goes with the culture, because now I understand that in this country in general, or in the Western world, not everyone, but mostly the parents are, yeah, the
Much more
kids will
relaxed.
leave. Yeah, it's their option. But
Mhm.
here, but in Indonesia, we are taught to be, the kids are going to take care of the parents, and somehow the parents also, make some plans. "Oh, that kid."
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, they know their children, and they're like, oh, this one is good for this one is good for that.
So delegation is going on.
Yes, because they would like that, whatever it is that they think is the right plan for the family is well executed. Of course, they have good strategies because they know very well their children and how to
Yes,
manage their children to get going
100%.
with their plans, right? Yeah.
100%. So yeah, I mean, this is and I'm sure it's still going on as well. And maybe even though my parents have already embraced that situation and also understand this is where we are right now, I'm sure that it's also not an easy place for them to understand their surrounding, their friends or their peers,
Yeah.
they would also question that. Oh, so your daughter or your daughters are not there. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't think they have an easy life on that point.
No, no, no. I would also say this. They're in tough spots. I think you absolutely
Yes,
highlight that we come from this type of culture where the
yes,
community has a lot of say about
yes,
the individual choices. And because the community has a lot of say, what is accepted by the community is the template. So
yes,
whenever you deviate with the template, not only actually we are the ones who's executing and leave, it's
yes,
actually have the easier situation because we don't have to deal with questions.
yes,
And our
yes,
parents, while they're trying to figure out how to come to terms with the children's choices, they also
yes.
have to deal with the questions. And they may not even have answers of the questions that the community asks them. So it's tough. Yes, it's tough.
Exactly. But what I wanted to add to that is
Sure.
that of course the process is hard. Maybe they're also having some challenges and all that. My relationship with my parents and my family in general is actually getting better.
There you go. There you
It,
go.
but it took a process. It
Mhm.
took a very uncomfortable process each time, and I would also say like this, the shadow work, right? The part where you have to face your own demons, and then you got to learn how did it happen, why you behave that way, and therefore why your parents behave that way. That was really, really uncomfortable. And sometimes also still coming these types of triggers, and it, I think at this point of time, I cannot ignore them anymore because it's just happened to be that, if you take a lead of this and then you realize that this is my decision to heal, this will also come, and embracing these triggers to say, okay, I hear you now. I know that you need to go. I'm sending you go, and I'm sending my honor to my parents, and blessing to my parents, and also to my ancestors, to my system. So this doesn't work anymore, and I will go ahead with different belief systems, but I still am part of this system in a secure manner. So that is the process that takes a repetition.
Mhm.
It's almost like a skill to realize, okay, so this is like tickling me and making me cry or making me angry and all of that. Cannot ignore them.
Yeah.
Like you have to do something.
Yeah. You were saying something very interesting that your relationship with your parents are actually better.
Yes,
And of course, with a lot of investment, healing, and efforts, right?
yes,
Would you say, if, okay, I would like to ask your opinion about this. My personal journey, Soraya, for many years, I'm a facilitator for
yes,
others, right? But it started with my personal journey, and I'm still on that journey myself, right? With the inner transformation, there's always a deeper parts of myself that would love to be unleashed, right? I
yes,
think if I were to say to have a line, a very simple line about this whole journey, I would say it's a journey of embodying that love wins.
yes.
Would you subscribe to this?
Yes, I agree with you. It's embodying the unconditional love. It's to walk and breathe this unconditional love. And if we feel emotions, we'll get back to that because they are temporary, but love is eternal. It's everywhere. It's within us. It's outside us. It's everywhere we go. But we have to also be open to receive that.
Mhm. This was not necessarily the case in the beginning, right? This
Of
belief.
because love was
Well,
just
why would I start a transformation?
what is that?
What is that?
What am I transforming to?
Exactly. So can we start with your a bit more specific journey about
Yes,
this love
of
winning,
course. Let's
embodying
do
of
it.
love winning, unconditional love winning? Because I just, sometimes when Nike said, just do it, right? And I'm
Yes.
like, what is it about this? And I said, oh, it's about love wins.
Mm-hmm.
Love wins. This is like winning. Love is winning because
Yes.
everybody, when they started this transformation, and I would like you to elaborate on your journey, right? Like they
Mm-hmm.
never came with this to me. Never.
Yes.
So, Soraya, the
Mhm.
microphone is yours. Please lead us through your journey. Let us imagine your journey. Tell us the story.
Okay, so this is gonna be probably interesting, I hope. But I can agree with you first. Like, I didn't come to, okay, embody. I want to embody unconditional love. It doesn't that
It doesn't
way.
start like that. Yes.
No, but she started like that. Yeah, so I was really I'm a sort of a go-getter. So I work hard and I came from a family of hardworking people, right? So we have seen that if you work hard, if you try your best, then you will get the result, and you need to do it every day, being disciplined. If you're sick, you know,
Tough it
maybe you
up.
probably cannot be sick.
Tough it up.
You have to tough it up, like um it's a lot about not being so true about yourself or not being weak. A lot more masculine energy that we're using in order to survive. So I had been under survival mode for a long time. And I thought that it was only the part where I was studying or I was working. But then if I look back, it's so far away when I was already, I don't know, in my teenage years, I think, because that came as a coping mechanism, like to study hard, to be so smart, to be very tough, to be able to show up, to be able to speak up. So I think that there was sort of crisis in my 20s, mid 20s, because I felt just very, very disoriented. Like, I don't know why I was not happy with a lot of things that I had,
Mm.
despite of what I have achieved, despite of where I was. And then I always looked up, you know, I always looked up how people could be richer, so had so much money, could be uh, buying house, could be living in different places, traveling. And it was so hard to be grateful
Mm.
about that because I had a lot of resentment inside me because I was just feeling in a limbo. I felt like this is not my life, but where where did I go wrong? I also didn't know. And the peak of that was the two burnouts that I have experienced. I think we also talked about in one of your podcasts.
Yes.
And I shared that I had one burnout in early 20s and then the other burnout in the mid 20s. And it was just very confusing. I didn't know what to do.
Mhm.
And I actually spoke to some friends and um, he gave me that contact. I already knew you from our community at Isaac. One of my best friends' aunt is a friend of yours. So you were part of the community, but I actually never made that call until one of the days I was like very triggered during my working experience. I was still in Singapore and I called some friends. I was like, I don't know what to do right now. So I really want to quit my job. Not really sure what happened. And then he was like, just call her, see what happens. Then I called
Mm.
and then, yeah, let's try it out. But it didn't start with like, okay, so I need A, B, C, D. I didn't know what I needed.
Mhm.
So I was just telling how I felt. And then we started with that. But we went through a lot of process. I think that if you remember, we went from body code, generational traumas, systematic trauma, also past life, and then recent this past 2 years I onboarded to the courses that is recently created, the embodying unconditional love and authentic wealth. So
Mhm.
those like the latest two, right? So I've gone through a lot of processes until, hey, now I can say I understand unconditional love. I understand the synchronicity of life. I embrace who I am. I embrace my own abundance. So I don't have that sometimes I don't have that much of comparison anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if people are super successful, yeah, it's still good. Like I'm happy for them, let them be. There has been also challenges to them. And if people are also in their own ways doing stuff, that's also good. Let them be, because this is what they want to learn. And I don't also try to, I don't feel like I need to save them too, because that's like where they are and this is what they want to be, unless they ask, right? So I have this completely new life right now.
Mm-hmm.
But this journey from making that call to that synchronicity and trusting how the universe works, trusting my own abundance or my authenticity to be able to go out and show up and being vulnerable. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, right, we're doing things for the first time.
Yeah.
But yes, and exposed.
Yes. Yes. Before we have the logo of the company we work for as like a, as a shield, I'm working for this. Now it's like I'm working for me.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, yeah, that's my company. We're 2 years old. As opposed to, yeah, we're working for this big brand and
Mm.
they've been here and there. They're a global company. They're making this much of profit, but like, we're 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I think it's still a learning to me, but it's like still a process to, okay, I'm waking up today, like I'm gonna do it for myself. This is where I'm at. Like this feels right. And if I don't feel right, then I do it different way, but this is me. Okay, I'm gonna giving my best. And that took me that 6 years.
Hey, instead of 30 years, it really depends how you look at it, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But that's a good point, right? So I also try not to always look up,
Right.
because you never know. And I think that looking up, especially as an entrepreneur now, I try to also listen to the bigger system, which are the system of entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
because this is very niche, and you also want to learn from these people, and they all have different challenges. And what I think also what's interesting from the learning, there's one line that I see it clearly. They know who they are,
Mm.
and they know that no matter what, this is who they are. So things are going easy that way when they know that this is what they want to do, this is who they are. The challenges they are facing, not only financial but also challenges from stakeholders or environment or communities, they just have their ways in finding that how to solve these problems. And I think that to have that compass and say, okay, yeah, okay, this is who I am, and people are doing it differently. And there are like so many examples of different entrepreneurs. I will be someone else, and that's okay too. It could be big, could be small. It's okay too. Like the expectation is rather, I give it to the universe, but I know
Mm-hmm.
that this is where I'm going. We have the vision board, we have our intention, we have our intuition, all of that, and we're just gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you say then that the personal authenticity, which is this was what you said in the beginning before you do the move to Germany, is asking who am I and who I'm not, right?
Mm.
Like who am I, who I'm not. And this is on a personal level. You could see that what in one-to-one correlations with who you are as a business owner, like as a company. The company has an identity, right? Like it's
Mhm.
your company has a unique identity. And what you're saying, what I'm hearing is that authenticity of your company is also very, very important. Is that what I'm
Yeah,
hearing? Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So I think at the beginning, this is also what I learned during the 2 years of establishing a company. People are people can relate to you. So if you're the face of the company, you're the founder, right? So
Mm-hmm.
people can relate to you. People don't buy from the brand
Mm-hmm.
because the brand relates to you as the holder of this brand. And it will change as the company will move towards a bigger a stakeholder or a bigger team where the energy doesn't relate only from the founder or the founders, bunch of founders. Yes, they are there, but there are a bigger system towards it. But at the beginning, it's always our intention, it's always our interaction, it's our value, and that's really important. And it's sometimes very triggering to me too when I'm being asked, okay, what's the USP of your company? And we're just us, like,
Yes.
but it's not the answer people would like to hear. They
No.
want to say you are um in a very logical way, you are focusing on one certain niche or one certain industry. You are better at what, you're the first, you're the biggest, you're against, blah blah blah. Also, these are theories. It's also marketing theory. So sometimes I just say, yeah, so we do things differently, and we have sort of our own methods, and you can experience that through ABCD. We also try to make it more articulated in the way we can experience, but it's just the core of the people, right? You just choose the people who are because we're a consulting company.
Right. Right. I was going to ask, can you speak a little bit more about your business?
Yes.
Yes. So that we can imagine it
Yeah.
better.
Understood. So we are a an IT consulting company for applied artificial intelligence. So that means we help our customers to find out through methods or through our trainings and programs how to create AI that could work for them. So
Right.
it's custom made, right? So there are also methods where they can implement themselves, because it's not, none of them are secrets, right? So they are available everywhere. You can also go to different places and different agencies, different types of companies, or big or small or niche, but it's just different whenever you feel working with someone, or bigger company or smaller company, niche companies. So it's a really relationship business. So it means to me as well to choose who we want to work with, who we want to be associated with. Because with AI, in which it's a bigger topic right now, you have to be trustworthy. You have to be very mindful. Where is this going? It's not just business process. It relates to so many things. So the data, the competencies, and what's going to happen. People also ask whether they are going to be replaced. So I think we need to be a little bit more mindful on that part, because technology is always there, right? So where it's going is really in your hand. And this is what we are also trying to communicate a lot to a bigger public, not only for B2B, in which we're in B2B. So this is why we are saying, like, we're different. We might be smaller. I mean, it's a fact, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like a little bit more niche and all that, but it's sometimes you cannot really explain. You just click to someone. You click to some people that mostly in my contact, but it's like they have been doing healing as well.
They've been doing their inner work.
They've been doing the inner work. They catch
Yes.
my energy. And I realized that we're just in the same understanding of where we're going in terms of our vision. Gitu.
Yeah, this is so nice, this point, Soraya, because I wanted to ask you how your inner work impact how you co-found how you co-founded and grow
Yes.
your business, because you said, yeah, I mean, it's small. Everybody starts from somewhere, right? But I understand when you sit around the table with other companies which are like much more established, right? So, and you're like, but our company is our company.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
like me, I'm me. I mean, there's a lot of other women, of course, or whatever, Indonesian here, whatever system you wanted to compare yourself with. But yeah, so what do you think about that? How was your inner journey impact this whole business?
I think it just, first of all, it happened at the right time, I think, when I wanted to create something, right? So the creator energy is coming in, and it's not that I'm coming from a place of fear,
Mm.
and I'm not coming from a place of like I'm going to compete, I'm going to go against the big guys, I'm going to be the next unicorn and all that. But it's coming from, I'm going to create something that could also be useful for me and my generations and the next generations to come. Although I did not know exactly what that is. It's all the process of the discovery of
Mhm.
ourselves and also experimentation, because I founded a company with my husband as well.
Mhm.
So that's also an interesting part, because this boat or this company couldn't have only one captain.
Mm.
So there's also a dimension of that we could say that the feminine energy and the masculine energy comes in an equal position, and that we're ready to drive this together in the best scenario.
Mhm.
So I had a tendency to be super bossy and super dominating. No, I could not, because I had to be with a partner. I could
Mhm.
have I could only do that with a partner that I can trust. And
Mhm.
this is also the embodying the 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 healing the embodied healing feminine energy that comes in, also together with the healed masculine energy that come in together. And it's still a process
Mhm.
to understand where I need to stand, when to understand to say, yes, we're two founders, but we also respect the difference, the diversity. We are a family founded company, but we also have women, we have men here. All of this actually coming not from fear and not from like a ambition to be the next 50 billion company or so. We're doing this because we like it. We're happy doing it. This is
Mm.
something that I'm waking up, so I'm going to do this. This is for me, this is for our family, this is for our community. It's going to be fun, we're laughing a lot.
Mhm.
So this is how I feel that the inner work really impacted, and it also shows in the manifestation of the physical things, so our brands and our interactions.
Mhm.
So when we feel secure in ourselves, we also make it easier for people to share their problems. We
Mhm.
make it easier for them to share their own challenges, and also come as a team, right? So
Mm.
people are more relaxed, especially with the theme of AI, where people think, oh, so intimidating, we don't know. A lot of things are about education, for the lack of better word, because I'm so sure people are intelligent. It's just that they are not putting the
Yeah.
focus on that. So a
Yeah.
lot of conversation about this, and you need a lot of emotional security. You need a lot of calmness. That it's not that we're now super scared. If the world is going to change with AI and you don't know what is going to happen, the easiest, or what you can do about it, is to design it together, right?
Mhm.
To be on the driver's seat. And we want people to also come to this community to talk about it, because we
Mhm.
can't do it by ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is super fascinating because I don't know your husband personally, but I can imagine he is quite different than you.
Yes,
And I can also imagine that he may not process things the way you do. From
yes,
feminine, masculine is already there, and then the personality on top. So it's like,
yes,
and how, when you observe your husband as you go through the different inner work that you've done throughout the years,
yes.
in connection to what I offer and other, because I know that you also work with other people for different things, right? So how, what do you observe? Because I find it to be interesting to know what happens to the spouse when you are doing this.
Yes. So I think two things. What happened to the spouse or the partner? I think I don't know whether I mentioned that to you. It was also one of his requests, because during the time that I was very frustrated with, let's say, the job that I didn't want to take, or I was not really. aware of myself, that I was building resentment. It also affected my relationship with my
Sure.
boyfriend then and now
Yeah.
my husband. So it was also something that he mentioned, yeah, you need to do something with that, seek help, find someone and all that. And then I did, right? So I think that I'm very, very lucky. So I'm very grateful for that I have a partner that is also that he knows that you really need to do something and give space for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he also understood and learned a lot from my own healing journey, and he understood um, what I've gone through in different phases in my life. And I also said, like, like, I'm just telling you this story. I don't need help. I just wanted to tell you where I am. And I'm going to be doing A, B, C, D to do that. Or can you give me space? Yes. So I think it's a lot more space in between us,
Mm-hmm.
that he is also in his own healing journey doing something else that I don't do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he understands the skills, these he understands the listening skills. He understands to let people cry, to let people show emotion, and this is what we do as partner. I think people maybe when we were young thinking, oh yeah, like you have to have this type of person, ABCD feature to get to marry with. And then in marriage you talk a lot. You need
Yeah.
to have a partner that can listen doing errands together, right? And this is what we have. So we talk a lot, like we're like sparring partners, and also exchanging. So what you learn and what he learned and what I learned, and he also learned from that. And he also acts like a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
He would also say, yeah, I think that you're in a better position now. I think that after that it helps you, like he would also say that after I've gone through your program, that says, I understand that. I noticed that after 1 year you're not that triggered anymore with, for example, money issues, or you're not triggered anymore with family issues, for example. then
Mm-hmm.
then it actually helps him, because our relationship, like, okay, now I learned that these are the things that don't work anymore. We need to change. There were also part where we also try to make different plans.
Mm-hmm.
And we just sat down together. Okay, what do you want to do? What do I want to do? This doesn't work. We need to change. Yes, so let's grieve together. Yes, but then if we don't change, that will stay. The result will be the same. So it helps a lot with the relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
it's none of the relationship of my partner, and it's my own relationship. And I think that from his own end, he has on his own thing in
Mm-hmm.
doing his healing, and I don't do. And he solved his problem in a way that I've never thought of.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I thought, okay, so at first I was like, you should just go,
Mm-hmm.
avoid me, this, doing that, doing that. And then he's like, no. And I couldn't control, and this is what he
Yeah.
wants to do, fine. And then I realized that I'm not always right. So he's doing his own thing, and that goes really well. Yes, that's the first question in the relationship. Second one, how is it different? So I also look into different modalities, because I think by nature I also need to seek more of help in
Mm-hmm.
different pillars, let's say. But for your program in general, what's interesting and what's important are there are two part of it. So part where you need to bring it to the reflection, like the real life, what's happening, and then you bring it to your own attention. So this is you need what you need to zoom. So just for example, I'm triggered off my work that I have been called at 6 p.m. I don't know, I'm just making it up
Yeah.
because that's one of my highlight, and it is
Right.
probably trivial.
Yeah.
Why am I getting a call at 6 and I'm so mad about it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that work has to end at 5, for example, right? And it could make people so angry without no reasons from the outside, because yeah, it's just a call. Maybe somebody's having a bad time, or somebody is under pressure and all that. But I was so mad about it. It made me so angry and sad. I couldn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly, right? So you need to bring that into attention. So that is that one thing. And then journaling about it. Where did you get that from, and what happened? And you have to listen to your sadness. You have to also break it down the situation. And then after that, we go to the subconscious part where you do the tapping and also maybe hypnosis, or different modalities that you also offer, right? And then after that, there is this part where the integration happens, and it's not super easy, like, oh yeah, it's gone, like, no, it's going to tickle you a little bit. There were like dreams and also not triggers coming in. Maybe you also feel dizzy physically, something is leaving your body, and problem sleeping, also with synchronicity of the universe, like full moon, all that, menstruation. After that integration, sometimes I realize or I don't realize that this anger has left, because it already served the purpose, right? So if the anger or the emotions serve the purpose, they can leave. So I think it's a good thing to always bring it up first, and to acknowledge that is that thing and where it came from, and then it has to leave and why, and then replace it with something else. And this is the whole cycle of this. This is what you offer in general, and what you have. And then the end of it, the end of the program, especially the authentic wealth embodiment program, there's the end of it, part of where you learn how to become conscious creator. Because if this is gone, right, your intention, your desire, your own authenticity, that has a source, and it comes from one source, right? Then what's your role now if you're not that person anymore? You might also create something. You will interact with other people. Might as well you be kind. Might as well you be a more conscious person that can help other people, or can be a better impact, a positive impact to society. Maybe it also can be different, but why don't we have that, And this is what elements that your programs have. Oh, like the recent ones as a focus, but before that there were also other programs that we can talk about. But I think we have already covered that. So these are the things that I think are important for people who would like to seek for help. Yeah.
It does not take away. I think what I'm hearing is that you learn, in addition to different topics in the program, you learn the process
Yes.
that you repeat again and again and again and again
Yes.
outside of the program.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So it's a skill. It becomes like a life skills that you acquire, and then you can continue the same patterns the same processing of different triggers
Yes.
from you. Because yes, you will get triggered again because you're going to grow again.
Expect that to happen.
Yeah. The only time you don't get triggered is when you're dead.
Good point. Good point.
So exactly. And I love that that you articulated so well the process, because it's a very universal process to process on a lot of things.
Yes.
And I also think you can apply the same principle in organization also. You acknowledge, and then let's sit with it and give it time, because I remember when we were in corporate, we just have to do things really fast, right? Sometimes we are missing lessons. And then we repeat again the same mistakes, and you were like, why is it happening again?
Yes.
Because we didn't give it enough space and give it enough time to actually take all the gives from the first instance that it showed up before it gets more complicated. Because usually when the second mistake happens again, it's usually more complex.
Yeah, absolutely. I really agree. Like how you mentioned that usually we don't give space and time for that to happen, right? Because I think what also I feel these days with my industry in general, everything goes really fast. Everything goes very instantly. Somebody's being famous for one night. Some people have founded a company within or become a unicorn within, I don't know, or become 200 years in 2 years, something like that. And you get food in front of your door. So I think we forgot how the nature works sometimes. And one of the benefits living in Germany, I learned from the seasons. I learned from that because in Indonesia we have 2 seasons. Here we have 4 seasons, right? Sometimes we want to change really fast as a company. We want to suddenly change. We pivot today. This is what we're going to try to our potential customers. This is what we're going to try. It doesn't go that way.
Mm.
If we give more space to reflect how much we have changed from last year and how enriched how the experience that we have gone through in 1 year enriched us as a person, we're completely we're doing so great, but we want to measure that sometimes, right? We
Right,
want to
right.
measure how much revenue we have, how much blah blah blah. But if we're not giving this the right space to reflect, like to my founder, my founder or my husband, sometimes we just sit down, you know what, like we have we have thought of this 3 years ago, but we didn't implement it. Now we're much more confident because we have experienced that. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. You know, like all of these things that we thought was going to be bad, or we thought that it was going to end, it's not the case, but there is time for that. We're making friends with the time that, yes, the process has to happen. The process of me integrating to Germany, for example, also adopting with the culture and making friends, understanding the context, learning the language, all of that has to happen in order for me to be able to show up. Just for example, and I wanted to be always fast.
Mm.
Here in Germany, you cannot say, I want the summer to come like right now. No, you have to wait.
It won't.
It won't, no matter what,
No
it
matter.
won't be there, right? Then I realized, yeah, it's a process.
Mhm. It's
It's
a
it's
process.
it's the process, the space and time to happen, but also with your reflection, right? It's repeated every time. I had to sit down with myself a lot. If I just want to be in the doing mode, I think I wouldn't be in the position where I can be relaxed.
Mhm. Exactly. And I think I think it's not only specifically to business owners or entrepreneurs that you actually need to relax. I think just to go through life, you need this space, this solitary space where you can dedicate time and space and silence, probably
Yes.
also into this as part of the process, right? So
Mhm.
so as part of living and not to be consumed or pulled by noises because the noise will not stop. It's
Yes.
louder because now we have the noise from mobile phone and from everywhere, and noise, voice, whatever you want to call it, right? So yeah, so time and space is very important, not only for you as a person but also as an organization. That's what I hear from you. Yeah.
Yes, completely agree. And I think you mentioned something that is not being discussed with us, the silence, the
Mhm.
silent part. And that silent part, I don't know how people manage it because I'm not a parent yet,
Mhm.
right? So if you have kids, surely the kids will be trying to see you and also get your time and attention. But we are living in a society where the noises are there and it's always being fast. You're like always behind,
Yes.
the impression is always behind. But the silence really served me a very good time to listen to myself. So I need silence for 2 things usually: to let all the other voices to go,
Mhm.
especially if I'm overly loaded
Stimulated.
with stimulated by other things, and then I started to be spiraling, and then, oh, okay, so other people are doing that, or like we should go to different places to learn something, new technologies coming, or internal or family, for example. It's just too much. Then I need really like hot baths or meditation, going to the nature just to silence that voice. And believe it or not, it could take me 2 days just
Mhm.
doing that, like
Mhm.
not working.
Mhm.
And because I work with our team and we manage our time, I could work in a weekend, but like not working on a weekday, for
Right, right.
example. And I know that people don't have that privilege um, as much, for example. But I just want to emphasize how much you need to just to silence that voice. And then the second part of it is to listen to your own voice, to listen to this higher higher self and the universe where you're going, where the truth. Because in order for us to listen to that part, you need to silence other things too, right? And maybe in the middle, there's also the trigger that we need to clear up before we actually listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that process repeats, and that needs time, space, and silence.
Yes. Yes. And you know, as I was listening to you, I was just thinking it's absolutely courageous for you to make the space when it happens and not to postpone it. And what I'm saying by this is that we are dealing with the world is dealing with a lot of information in the speed that we've never ever experienced before. Yet the way we structure our time is very rigid. You know,
Mm,
like we work from Monday to Friday. I mean, we're talking about Switzerland and Germany. I think we have the same Monday to Friday. Yet sometimes we cannot work during those days because we are overstimulated, right? And
yeah.
we're like, wait till the weekend, and it's so incompatible.
Mm-hmm.
The structure that we have is good when the speed is not as crazy as it is
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yet we haven't changed the container structure, right? So
Yep.
when you are so brave in saying, I just came back from a conference, it
Mm-hmm.
was so inspiring that
Mm-hmm.
now I need to shift through. Like
Mm-hmm.
all these inputs and excitement, which one am I gonna integrate
Yes.
into our company, right? And you cannot wait for another 3 days because it's here. So if you wait for another 3 days, you cannot sleep for 3 days,
Yes. Yes.
right? And you get anxious because I need to integrate something, right? So and this is for me, I think the funny thing, it's an observation on how human lives these days. For me, it's like we haven't changed the structure. We should change the structure to adjust to how life is these days.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to work from Monday to Friday? Why can't we work from Wednesday to Sunday? Or why can't we rest when we need to rest
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
trust that we can actually do the work when it's in the weekend because we were resting during weekdays? You know what I mean?
Yes. 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 Yes, I think that's a very interesting perspective to see about it, because as an entrepreneur, like we can manage all of that. And in the life of freelancers,
Yes.
this is also happening, right? We work with our own rhythm.
Yes.
We commit to something that has time box and a result, yet not just showing up to be there and maybe not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, when
this is the structure.
exactly. And when you're overstimulated, you are overstimulated. There's not much
Mm-hmm.
you can do more.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
become very unproductive, and the likelihood of like, why am I like this? Your self-judgment, it's just not a good news. Usually the spiral go down instead of spiraling up. It's like spiraling up is better. Spiraling down is like heavier, heavier, heavier. So and you're like, yeah, but we don't have to. But our structure is still so rigid, right? And I think when you touch the point of authenticity, automatically you're thinking like this. You're like, why is it so painful, this process? What is wrong with it?
Mm-hmm.
And you see it. I think as
Mm.
the moment you start saying, look, I'm choosing authenticity,
Yes, yes,
you will see a lot more that are not authentic to you. Much easier. And you're
yes.
like, that doesn't fit me. That doesn't fit me. That's not authentic to me. It's like, okay. And then you realize, ooh, actually, the world at large isn't set up.
Yes, and I agree with you. And I have actually my thought on this
Mhm.
with the structure. And I'm also open to hear other what other could also put an input to that, because at some point we also need a structure that allows us to develop and to also learn to keep being productive and all that. The definition of productive is really close to how machine works, I feel.
Mm. Yeah.
And men in general. So I really have no issues with men. I honor them for how great they are, support and all that. But sometimes if we expect everyone to work like men, or like especially women and men, yeah, we have our own cycles and we go up and down, and if in sports, and we have our cycle and we have different performance. But if we refer to the world of men, they can just, every time they go up in the morning, they do it constantly. They're made for that. This body
Yes, they're
establishment,
designed for
the
that. Yeah.
hormone, they're designed for that.
Yeah.
So the expectation of the workforce, I feel in general, or the system is that.
Hmm.
And in order for me to realize that, I understand during my mom and dad working, because she was a very she was also a good leader. She was very good in what she was doing, leading teams, and doing great stuff during her time. She became that man.
Mm.
So if we put the same expectation of women in the world of men, then women should be like men, I
Hmm.
feel. And then if they don't show up, somebody gonna sue them.
Mm.
But if you if but men are work that way, like we sometimes I joke with my husband, like there's this huba huba, like the ape in us, right? Like the men have that. They have that competitiveness. They are made for that. They've got muscles, they've got the strengths. So if they wake up in the morning 5, working until 6 every day constantly, of course, excluded weekend, they can. But if we women doing the same thing, I think it's too much to ask. But also asking men to be very nurturing, to be very empathetic. Um, I think, cannot. Okay, we can expect that meeting a halfway. Like
Yeah.
we
There you go.
we need to learn how, but also the system, the container that is being deeply forged. I don't have answer for now. Like,
Right.
how is it going to look like? Maybe we're in
Yes.
the time where it's going to change.
Yes, exactly. And this is, I think, I'm glad that you share this, and I agree with you. I think the organization is set up in the beginning historically to accommodate certain type of people and certain type of profession, right? And
Yes.
but now the world has changed so
Yes.
much from that time when it was established, right? So and there's an invitation of breaking the things that didn't work anymore, but also finding a new structure. And this is the most exciting thing about it. It's not have a
Yes.
conversation, right? Like to have a conversation and to see a different way, etc., etc. I also don't have the answer. Like I work for myself, and I am, but since I work for myself, I embody my feminine way of being.
Yes.
And this has served me really well, but I was for a long time was very much more masculine than feminine, and I was doing really well in that system too, right? So I understand the shift, but it was quite a shift.
Yes.
So, because nobody tells you this, and you're like, okay, the way I did it before didn't work for
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, if I keep doing it that way, I was going to go into burnout really quickly, really, really quickly, because
Yes.
it was against the nature of the work that I'm doing. But so yeah, I think this is an interesting conversation point, no?
Yes.
It's coming
Absolutely.
from a place of authenticity. It's again, it's so pervasive, even in organization. It can translate into the organization. So we're coming to the end because we can speak about this for hours. Soraya, if you look back, because everything is clearer in hindsight,
Yes.
how are things would be different if you hadn't done the inner work? How things
Okay.
would be different today if you had not embarked and stay consistent in your inner work journey?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could um only think about imagination right now, because of course maybe it's not going to happen, because it's just
No, for sure.
the destiny, right? But I think if I looked at point of that this Soraya before the healing journey, I think what I would see will happen, like the plan that I had in my mind during that time, was staying there
Mm.
in Singapore, and find a job there, living there. I think that The reason why I wanted to do that, it's because to manage what I want to do differently, but not coming back to Indonesia because I think just certain things I don't feel well in terms of the values and also the way doing things. Maybe things are different now.
Mhm.
And maybe stay in the workforce with the family there, but that's like on the outer part, right? But the inner world would be resentments, a lot of like, I think regret. I also made peace with a lot of regret that I have articulated with myself because I thought that I've wasted my time just doing things that I didn't like, I didn't love, and didn't know what to do, and living in auto mode
Mm.
without knowing why I'm so angry, without knowing why I'm so anxious, why I don't like the things that I'm doing, or why I'm not happy living in the place that I'm living, instead of despite of all of the things that we have, or the possessions, or the achievements, or the very flashy titles, the very nice brands, luxurious life, for example, as opposed to living as a young entrepreneur
Mhm.
and being embracing the abundance coming from different places, different contexts, a new experience, but staying with what we understood, staying with what we thought the cultural norm, what
Mm.
is right by external and acceptable there. I think that could have been the way I lived without healing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Of course, it's almost like there are two doors. Going
Yeah.
to healing, not going to healing. You went into the door healing, and this is where you are. And then what could have happened if you didn't? I have, okay, promise. Last question.
Yes.
How has this inner work, the intensive inner work, changed the way you show up as one, business leader, two, wife, three, a daughter, a sister, and a friend?
Well,
Are they
actually,
all the same answer or is it different? Feel free to.
oh, but I think those are very, very different.
Mhm.
And I think I will start with myself, like how I show up with myself. I am kinder talking to myself. I also give appreciation to myself. I give time. I need a lot of myself. So that means saying no to all of the stakeholders that
Yes.
you highlighted. So that is my universe. If I am not composed in my own universe, then I cannot show up in different places as that person. How is it different with business leader? Um, is to be able to just be myself and telling the truth about who I am, being authentic. For example, as a female founder, and what it means to be a business leader who is a female, and what we want to push as the best quality of our feminine energy. There are also feminine energy that are not healed, for example. We want to attract and also articulated this feminine energy. They are nurturing, they are collaborating, they
Mhm.
are hearing, empathetic. So these are the things I want to stand up for. And I'm attracting this energy, and I'm articulating and trying to also um, promoting this. Yeah. And as a daughter, as a family member, I'm much more honest and vulnerable in that sense. So saying things that I can or I cannot, or give me space, or I can do that, I can come back home, or I cannot. This is what I can provide, or I cannot provide. So at first, it was really hard because the expectation was there, and I was still a pleaser.
Mhm.
But it gets easier as I am being honest about my whole situation, that I didn't have to lie.
Mhm.
So yes, we are an entrepreneur. We are entrepreneurs. We started out with almost whatever we have right now. So the expectations of, I don't know, maybe different cultures different, yeah. But in Indonesia, we also need to give back
Yeah.
to our family, and these are the things that people, I think they take it for almost like, yeah, that's a norm. But you could actually say no when you cannot, because the next thing financially, let's say, the next thing that you do, if you lied or you say like you're giving something that you don't have, then you will have a debt, for example, right? So I'm just saying, yeah, so this is what we have, this is what we can do. When we have more, of course, that could be better, yeah, but cannot. For example, like boundaries, there's boundaries to that. My relationship with my sister is also getting better. I would also need to ask her whether she feels that way. But we talk almost every day, and we exchange a lot of things and the thoughts. So I think we're also onboarding in the healing process together. So she's doing her own thing, I'm doing my own thing. But there's a community to that. Like, you're not in this together, right? So we have experienced in our family universe different stuff, but we are in the same boat. So it's also nice to have that people around you. And I think you mentioned as a wife, is it?
Husband, a wife, as a
Yeah,
wife.
as a wife, I could accept myself better, and it means that I could also embrace him where he is and what he is, and I'm not angry anymore for certain things with myself, so I'm not angry with him. So a lot of things that I want to do in the past the way I wanted exactly to be, I just let him does whatever he thinks that it's better, and see how we can improve together. And if we, like sort of goes the other direction, or things were like a little bit like crisis, we try to laugh at it and see what happens. Because most of the time I thought in my head, okay, I lived in a lot of fears before. And the fears were like, what if this will happen? What if this will happen? And these positions right now, it happens, like those crises are happening. And it's not that bad.
It's just an experience.
It's not that bad. We're laughing.
It
We're,
was in your head. It was worse
it's in your
because we are so
head.
creative in creating the worst scenarios, right?
Like movies, right?
Like
Like
movies, yes.
it's so funny, because sometimes there are times where like, oh, we're just gonna give up, and it's like, no, 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 let's not giving it up, like it's fine, like we're gonna do this. But all of these things that we thought was going to happen, and it was really gonna be bad, is not happening. So
Right.
yes, we cannot be super prepared, and we cannot be controlling things will happen. But also there are things that happen that are better than we thought it was going to be, and catching this blessings, right? So all together, and sitting down and say, you know what, let's celebrate simple things in life. Every Friday we do that. So what do you celebrate? What do I celebrate? I appreciate this, and I'm very happy that you did that. I'm also very happy you did that. So it's like really like sparring partner in a way. We're like best friends in a way.
Yes.
And the last one,
Friend.
I have friends. So, this is a very interesting one.
They're always interesting. The relationship with friends, I mean.
Yes, yes. So twofold, I think. But my friends in the past, where I have not been to Germany, and then yes, yes, right, we have friends here as well. I think because of the time gap, it's not easy to always keep up with things. And recently I had a conversation with my friend saying, yeah, it's not so easy to always be there for your friends. And she said, I was feeling guilty if I'm not replying you. And I was like, that's life. I also do that. So I remember one of the sessions that I think you were discussing about relationship,
Yeah.
and also reviewing this relationship where you are actually feeling like pulled or not energized. So I
Right.
reviewed that really literally, like one by one,
Yeah.
checking
Yes.
out all of my WhatsApp messages. Where did I actually give energy where I shouldn't? And then I reviewed, then I say, okay, so this is going to end, and I honor this relationship, but we will have a different relationship. Some of them I actually inform, like my life changed. I cannot really
Yeah.
be there for you, and it doesn't mean that I don't love you. I love you, but I need a lot of myself. I really do. And then people who care and they understand, it doesn't matter to them. Yeah, it's like we will see each other. It will be okay. But sometimes there are also people who are like, yeah, why it's not, like you're not there. Oh, this are happening, this happening, and people were like, in Indonesia, this is like also a little bit of expression where you were a little bit like you're not serious about this, but people quote unquote say, ah, you're sombong, like you're
Mm,
what's that equal word to that? Like
snobbish.
snobbish or not
Not
arrogant, but
exactly
like
snobbish. Yeah.
it's a little bit like you're ignoring me.
Standoffish. Is it standoffish or
Mm,
ignorant?
yeah, maybe a little bit ignorant, but like jokingly said. Um, and I've personally dealing with that. It's like it's not my intention, but just really my life changed, and somehow it just shifted to different ways and attracted different type of people and people who are in my past, and they are not part of this new universe. They either have that reactions or they understand. But more and more I made peace with that. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Like I've been seeing you, you're doing well, it's great, but it's just life change. And the more we're getting old, the more we understand, yeah, people are just trying to do their best. And we're great at that and we embrace that. Then in the meantime, when we see each other in different places, we're like, well, we're grateful that we finally see each other again. Yeah.
Yes. Relationship do evolve. As
Yes.
you know. But we sometimes don't because we don't pay attention to it. We're just getting on with life. We didn't realize that until it's a bit too late when you go start to clash and you're like, I didn't see this coming. Actually, it has been coming for a while. We just none of the parties actually realized it. So, Soraya, any other words you want to say before we close this wonderful sharing?
I think that I would like to say that for others who are listening to this podcast or watching this video, it's really not. I wouldn't say there's nothing about healing that is one off or like it's like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm gonna do this call and then it's gonna be gone. It doesn't go that way. It's a lot of investment and it's your decision. Like you have to declare, this is where I'm going and I'm gonna go with my full heart and my full attention to it. I'm going to listen to all of that. And that means also a lot of changes in your life. And it's very uncomfortable at first. But after this uncomfort situations that you're facing, there will be a lot of glimmers. There will be new lives that we thought it was going to be different and scary, but it's not like that. You will meet the right people, you will meet the right souls and be in the right environment. And wherever you are right now thinking you're in a toxic situation or toxic relationship, you're not happy with your life, start with something small and understand that you can get help from people even though they are there for you, like healers and energy healer, hypnotherapists. It's not them who are doing the work. They're only encouraging you to start, and you have to really take leadership for that and go through your own way and define what's unique for you and work what can work for you. So my way of doing this is my own way because I have my own situation and my own background, my own universe, but your own way of doing healing could look different, but just trust that that process, it just needs to start and need you to take leadership for that.
Thank you so much. Very, very wise words. I have one last one. Really, I promise.
Yes.
What would be the three words you would give to describe the Uplift My Life Today healing space?
Uplift my life healing space. I think three words. It's the enlightenment. So it's where you can get all this information, but really from yourself. Second um, is the healing journey because I want to explain it in a way there are work to do. They're understanding what's outside. Like the universe is also talking to you. Other souls are also attracting to you. So it's a journey. Yeah, it's a process. And it's also a community of people. So maybe you don't see it right now. Maybe you only see me or you only see Astuti right now. There's a bigger system to that. And you don't know it yet. And don't be scared that you're going to be alone. You thought that you're alone or you're going to be alone. It's never happened. Like you will always meet people. Just be open for these changes and do it wholeheartedly.
Thank you. And on that note, thank you so much for your generous sharing.
Thank you
For
so
everybody
much.
listening, thank you for listening this far. If you have questions for Soraya, I'm sure she would be happy to
Yes.
share. And I put the link of Soraya's Instagram and LinkedIn profile so you can get in touch with her. If you're interested to know about her company, feel free to reach out to her. Thank you so much, Soraya, for bringing the
Thank you so
transformational
much for this
story
space.
alive. So to everybody, I'll see you. We will, or I certainly will see you in the next episode. And in the meantime, take good care, everyone. Be well and be happy. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.